Live from the Sports Center of Connecticut here in Shelton, we bring you this presentation of NCAA Division I Women's Hockey and the New England Women's Hockey Alliance. Today, it's the Stonehill College Skyhawks coming into town to take on your post-university Eagles. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the broadcast booth here at the rinks, backed by our production team of Michael Vesci, Jared Michaels, Leah Lockwood, Kristen Brown, and the rest of our graduate assistants. My name is Max Stapleton, and we're thrilled to be taking you through tonight's action. We're down to the final 4 games of the season, and with that comes senior night for our hometown Eagles. Those seniors, Tim Marie Grom, Riley Patfield, Noah Farberman, Paige Piper, and of course the captains, Hannah Saunders and Maddie Noonan, look to play a little bit of spoiler tonight against Stonehill as they currently sit 4th in the Newhawk Conference standings. Post, who looks to end their 4-game skid, comes into today fairly locked into 7th place this season for Newhawk play. Excuse me there. Meanwhile, the Skyhawks sit at 4th in the conference, and they're the last team right now to get home ice advantage throughout the first round of the conference tournament, but they'll look to keep that today as there's certainly still a lot up to play through the final 4 games of the season. Both these teams are looking to snap their skids. Stonehill, they've struggled somewhat in the later parts of this season. They've lost 2 in a row coming into today, and 5 of their last 7 dating back to January. So when we get back after this quick commercial break, we'll have the starting lineups, goalie matchups, game previews, and of course the puck drop. It's all coming up next as you're watching Post University Women's Hockey. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut as we're just about a minute away from the puck drop between the Stonehill Skyhawks and your Post-University Eagles. So with that, let's bring you tonight's goalie matchup. First for the visiting Stonehill Skyhawks, it's the senior out of North Billerica, Massachusetts, Eve Stone, making her 15th start of the season, her second game against Post this year. So far this year, she's got a 3.5 goals against average and a 90.4 saves percentage. Meanwhile, for the home squad, it's their captain, Hannah Saunders, making her third start this season against Stonehill. Overall on the year, she's got a 2.54 goals against average and a 92.3 save percentage. As you can see on your screen right now, that's the Post starting lineup. It's the seniors today on senior night. Farberman, Noonan, Piper, Zoner, and Hine are your starting five. And then for the visiting team, meanwhile, it's Saka, Actil, Wise, Spadone, and Barrett. Meanwhile, Eve Stone in net. Thanks so much for taking time out of your Friday the 13th. We're officially underway here in Shelton. Almost forgot the name of where we were for a second. Immediately, the puck is in the defensive zone of the Eagles, wearing their away uniforms today on senior night. A little bit of an alternate look. Meanwhile, Stonehill in their home whites typically. Ooh, big collision there. Maddie Acto lays out two different Eagles for the Skyhawks. That's one of the leading point getters in the entire conference right there, making some physical plays in her own offensive zone, and this game starting off with a bang. Puck clears the defensive zone of the Eagles, but only temporarily here. Sydney Russell, her pass no good off the body of an Eagles forward. Devlin tries to intercept it, and she does end up with possession back to Peterson. Let's see if the Eagles can get some offensive possession going here in the early parts of this game. Going to play a little dump and chase game there. Russell goes to collect for the Skyhawks, but the Eagles force the turnover in their offensive zone. This is McCavakis. Tries the little bank pass to send it in deep. Now the tie-up along the near boards right at that near circle. Puck trickles around back behind the net of Eve Stone. Stone getting a good amount of games this year, much more than last year as a senior. Shot for McCavakis right there, kind of off her back skate, and a tie-up. It looked like Eve Stone was able to fall on it, and the first shot on goal of this game going to belong to the Eagles, Selena McCavakis. No surprise there, one of the leading shot getters in all of the NUHA this year. And we'll have another face-off coming up in the offensive zone for Post University. Got to give a special shout-out to those seniors today. Of course, it's Tim Marie Grom, Riley Patfield, Farberman. And I think they're actually calling that a goal. How about that? Overturn the call, and Georgia Stevens is leading the line right now, and the Eagles are leading 1-0. Boy, after a long discussion between the referees, looked like on a rebound chance, Eve Stone had it covered up, but they're going to say it slipped underneath her. And right now, they're counting it as a goal. Referees are still gathered together over at the scorer's box in between the benches. Of course, Lee J. Marosolo, over in her third season now as head coach of these Skyhawks, going to want an explanation, and she's getting one right now, but an unlikely goal for the Eagles, and I believe it's Georgia Stevens who's going to get the tally. For Stevens, the freshman, her third goal of this season, her 8th point. One of the top point getters for the Eagles this year, again, as a freshman out of Nova Scotia. Still a discussion going on here between Lee J. Marosolo and the linesmen. So we'll get you the official scoring when it comes in, but only a minute and 29 seconds into this game, the Eagles take a 1-0 lead. Well, that's certainly one way to celebrate your seniors, and how about the freshmen stepping up for those seniors and Georgia Stevens getting her third of the year? Eagles trying to capitalize on some momentum. Puck enters the offensive zone once again. Back into that far corner behind the net of Stone, and the puck swings around. Up top, Marley Webster tries to cut it off, but the Eagles unable to keep it in. Peyton Palsa with a head of steam trying to get into her offensive zone, but Callie Peterson gets there first. Slocum forces the turnover. Now along those far boards, one-time attempt, actually just an errant pass that ended up in a lucky spot there for Sina Spadone, but she couldn't get that puck on net. Good poke check there from Tim Marie Grom, forcing the puck out of the zone, forces the Skyhawks to touch back up on sides. Eagles take over, a little over 2 minutes gone here in this first period, working with a 1-0 lead. Maddie Noonan takes a tough angled shot, and that just misses the net. Eagles getting a quick change in, so they only had 4 skaters on the ice. They'll reset things back in their own zone. Lily Zoner tries to play it up the ice quickly. A bunch of collisions right at the red line. Eagles re-enter past the blue line, but Skyhawks right there to cut it off. They move right to left in their home white jerseys here on the road in Shelton. Zoner playing a little keep away in her own defensive zone. Maddie Noonan right there to help her out. Along these boards it goes and out of the defensive end. This is a team in Stonehill that gets a lot of shots up, a lot of goals. That's going to be an icing here with 6:55 left to go. Give you some of those team stats coming into today we were talking about and where they rank. They're third in the conference with 75 goals this year. That's 2.5 goals a game for them. Defensively this year, well, they're seventh in the conference. They've given up 106 goals against this year. So Stonehill, good offensive team. Shirley J. Maroslo would like to improve some of that defense a little bit. Eagles sit around seventh in all those categories pretty much this season. Tie up behind the net of Eve Stone back in the far corner. 3.5 minutes gone pretty much here in this first period. Zoner picks up the loose puck, tries to send one into the slot. Nobody home to collect the pass. And a good play defensively that time. Maddie Actel able to send it all the way down the ice on the poke check. Hannah Saunders has to cover it up, and we'll have another stoppage here at 16:25 left to go in this game. Big point of emphasis in this game for both sides is going to be who has the advantage on the power play. Both of these teams, they're 1-1 against each other this year. It seemed to be the power play that was the difference last time. We'll see if that remains the case. Quick shot off the draw from Maddie Actil, but that one never hit the net once again. Eagles come the other way with it. Only temporarily. Gets cut off right at neutral ice. It goes back behind Hannah Saunders' net. The Eagles trying to reset some things. Karis Kale for Jet Devlin. Devlin showing off the speed. Couldn't keep control of the puck, but it ends up right on her teammate's stick. Oh, a big collision. Multiple players down on the ice right now. It was Geist and Kale who slid into each other. Another player down for Stonehill as play continues on, and we do have a whistle after the shot. Trying to see who it is. I believe it's Peyton Wise down on the ice right now for the Skyhawks. Athletic trainer going to come rushing out, getting helped out by a couple of people on the ice. And we're going to take a break here in Shelton. Hopefully Peyton Wise is okay. It's a 1-0 Eagles lead, 15:52 left to go in this first period. Good to see Peyton Wise going off to the bench under her own power on her feet. And looks like she's just taking a spot right on the bench there, not going back to the locker room or anything like that. So hopefully Peyton Wise will be able to remain in this game. A story to be followed. Another one of those experienced players for Stonehill who's really been an important part of their very good season here in Newha play. Pass into the slot for the Eagles. McCavick's shot, believe, just went off the side of the net. Eagles still have possession in their offensive zone, looking to add on to their 1-0 lead. Loose puck trickles right in front of the net, but nobody can gather possession. It ends up going right on Spadone's stick, but she's getting harassed in her defensive end of things. Finally, the puck does clear out of there. Almost too many women on the ice for post, but they were just able to get off the ice. And now it ends up in the offensive zone of Stonehill. Eagles still with possession. Quickly going the other way. Kai Hyatt tries the long shot. That one off the body of Sydney Russell in defense. Russell now has it on her stick, dancing around, looking to just clear a path and trying to get up the ice. The Eagles with 4 skaters in their offensive zone on the forecheck, and that's the goal right there, to intercept passes, try to make big plays, and keep the puck on that side of the ice. We'll see if they can keep doing that. Kept in the O zone that time by Tallulah Cameron, and it does end up just trickling out of there. Cameron shoots it back in, and the Skyhawks reset. This is Bella Saka, sister of Gracie Saka, able to just get it up the ice for Peyton Palsa. Palsa gets harassed, almost turned it over, and then ends up actually turning it over. Regan Wynot Shoots it in her offensive zone behind the net of Hannah Saunders, and it trickles back around to the near boards here. Kept in by Why Not once again, back in deep. 14-16 left to go in this first period. Goal does go to Georgia Stevens for Post University, her third of the season. Just about a minute and 30 seconds into this game, it gave the Eagles a 1-0 lead. Zoner finds Cameron. Eagles looking to break out here. That long up-ice pass may be ill-advised there, but Stonehill going to be content to just shoot it in, get a change in. Big collision there. It was Maddie Bebo driving into Tallulah Cameron, it looks like, for the Eagles, but either way, post goes left to right. Maddie Noonan, she just fanned on the shot there. Now battle for the loose puck, stays in the offensive zone. Jody Rose shot it right into her teammate, Lily Zoner. Zoner stands up the hit. Nice play for the true freshman there, but Stonehill comes the other way with it. Lucy Turcotte has that one poke checked away from her. Once again, it's Peyton Tully and Lily Zoner defensively doing a really good job of just not allowing Stonehill to get anything set up in any type of zone. Eagles forcing the turnover once again, but the puck trickles loose into the neutral zone. Back to the near side here. This is Callie Peterson. Peterson finds Farberman. Farberman just chips it forward into the offensive zone, and now there's a tie-up. Two Eagles, the aforementioned Eagles, and two Skyhawks right there at the blue line. Boy, still tied up. It's Gracie Saka. Finally, she gets it out of there over to the far end. That's Peyton Wise back out there on the ice. Good to see she's doing okay after she looked to be pretty banged up earlier. Bella Saka up the near boards back for Wise. Wise getting checked by Peterson. One-time attempt. Great save from Hannah Saunders off the shot attempt from Gracie Saka. Now Karis Kale looks to go the other way. Probably the best opportunity for Stonehill so far in this game. I believe the first save for Saunders in this one. That's a real save. That one looked to be offsides, and it is. 12:15 left to go in this first period. Already somewhat of a fun first period between these two teams, though our live stats don't seem to be on right now, so we'll get some stats for you in just a quick moment, but the only one that really matters is the 1-0 Eagles lead. Stonehill wins that faceoff. They get it up the ice. This is Geist with it. Geist tries to send it across into the slot. Nobody home. Back out to the blue line. Skyhawk still with possession. Over to the far side now. Kenmore in deep for Bailey Feeney. Feeney, another one of these experienced players. It's a very experienced Stonehill roster this year. Going to have a lot of turnover going into next season, but it's a problem for later. Puck trickled on net. Hannah Saunders made the save. And 11:49 left to go. A 1-0 Eagles lead. Eagles looking to end their 4-game losing streak tonight, going up against some tough opponents. The conference leaders, St. Anselm. Sacred Heart, back-to-back overtime losses for Post University. So that's after a couple of very good wins against St. Michael's, maybe a little harder than expected. And I was just about to mention, during that stretch, the Eagles, they were committing 5 penalties a game, but right now it looks like they're going to go on the power play for the first time today, as the first call comes up against Lily Geist for a hooking penalty. Comes with 11:39 left to go in this first period. First time we'll see either team with a woman advantage today. Eagles on the season, their power play 9.7%. That's 7th in the conference. Penalty kill for Stonehill, that's 79%. That's 5th in the conference this season. Eagles win the faceoff. Quick shot for Georgia Stevens, looking for her second goal in the first period. Not able to do so, and Stonehill able to just clear it out of there. Penalty goes to Lily Geist here, just about halfway through. Karis Kale with it on her stick, trying to utilize her speed, gets past the blue line. Kale, a little bank pass to herself. She's going to send it all the way around the boards. Noonan had a tough time gathering it. Stevens barely able to keep it in, and she decides just to send it in deep. Curry over on the near side, wraparound try, and Eve Stone was able to get her body in front of it and make the stave. Back in the near boards, Maddie Actil looking to clear, and she does. Power play kicks down to 1 minute and 10 seconds left, just about halfway through this period. Emma Hain, first time we've said her name so far tonight, leading point getter for the Eagles so far this season, utilizing a screen there from her teammate. Looking to see who that was. Looked like it was McCavic setting the screen. Hain takes it all herself and takes the shot. I believe it just went off the shoulder of Eve Stone in net. Boy, great attempt coast to coast for Emma Hain. Back over to the far slot. That's Noonan. Sends it across. Back up to the top now. Wow, look at the cycling for post. One-time attempt. And Eve Stone got a piece of it with her glove. Deflects up and out of the offensive zone. 35 seconds left to go on the power play. McCavic with it on her stick. Looked to set up that first goal opportunity for the Eagles. Trying to do it again, but that time gets held up right in front of the Skyhawk bench. Emma Hain looks to re-enter the zone. Can't get around a couple of Skyhawk defenders. Maybe one last push for post with the woman advantage. Webster sends it all the way around. Devlin retrieves it on the other side, but has a hard time with it. Skyhawks going to try to just waste some time here. Summer Combe sends it into the offensive zone, and that's going to do it for the first power play attempt of the game for Post University. Make them 0 for 1 as we're officially back to even strength. Hatfield takes it into the offensive end for Post. Tried the bank pass to herself. Spadone cuts it off defensively. And now the Skyhawks try to come up the other way with it. Always got to watch out for Maddie Acta when she has it on her stick, but she gets cut off nicely. Great defensive play from Kai Hyatt on the back check, and the Eagles able to get it out of there. About 9 minutes left here in this first period. Eagles looking to just keep their 1-0 lead where it's at. Boy, a funny bounce off the boards and almost a great opportunity for Stonehill, but it doesn't work out. Belisaka, she takes the shot. That one gets blocked. Trickles into the far corner. Back out to the blue line here. Russell tries to get it to Wise while the rest of their teammates go off for a change. Eagles look to reset. Not a whole lot of whistles and stoppages in this game either. It's creating for a very fun first period between Stonehill and Post University. Back into the Stonehill offensive end of things. Curry cuts it off for the Eagles. Webster on the far side. Bank pass into the offensive zone. Looks like it wasn't handled cleanly by Sydney Russell. And now a tie-up right behind the net of Eve Stone. Eagles with possession. Anna Bernaire. She tried the little wrister from the blue line, but that one gets blocked. Good play by Pulsa. And coming the other way are the Skyhawks. McKenna Slocum with a head of steam, runs into the referee and gets cut off by a couple of Eagle defenders led by Marley Webster. Nice play defensively from her with some help from the Stripes. Boy, turnover there in their own defensive zone for the Skyhawks. Sets up an offensive opportunity for Post University, but they can't capitalize. Don't think the shot ever hit the net. Eagles still with possession. Boy, no-look pass attempt from Farman, but the pass went to nobody in the slot. And now moving right to left is Sina Spadone. Gets it to her teammate Turcotte, now to the far side, Walkham. Back up top, that pass for Barrett just couldn't go. Barrett couldn't kick it and keep it in. Now coming the other way, Maddie Noonan. No, excuse me, this is Tully. Tully tries the shot attempt, but that one, I believe, just went off the body of a defender, and Barrett picks it up. Turcotte through her own defensive end. That puck gets trickled up into the air. Emma Hain brings it down for Lily Zoner. Now over past the blue line, almost past the blue line, I should say, as the Eagles do have to reset things. 7 minutes left in this first period. The Eagles looking to add on to their 1-0 lead. Stonehill having a hard time just getting past neutral ice right now. The defense for the Eagles standing stout, but as I say that, Bailey Feeney in her offensive zone gets tied up in that far corner. Back for Emma Hain. Hain just tries to chip it farther back to one of her teammates. The Eagles having a hard time getting it out of there. Finally able to do so. Georgia Stevens takes it up the ice. Decides just to shoot it in deep while her and the rest of the forward group will get a change in. Stonehill looked to set up something, but Paige Piper was right there to cut it off. Piper, the extra skater tonight. One of these seniors in the starting lineup as well. We've tricked down to 6 minutes here in this first period. Quick moving first period between these two squads. Back in the offensive zone, not a whole lot of whistles whatsoever as well. Just very off-brand for the Newha, but you gotta love it. Regan Wynot sends it farther up the ice. Mia Kenmore. Now for Peyton Wise. Wise gets around one defender, takes the shot, and that one just off the side of the net. Pass into center ice intended for Paige Piper. Almost gets intercepted, but no harm, no foul for the Eagles. And here comes Riley Patfield. Patfield, her shot gets blocked. Nice play defensively from the captain, Russell. Now coming the other way, Gracie Saka gets around one defender. Hand gets raised. That's going to be a penalty coming up against Jody Rose and the Eagles. And we'll see the first power play opportunity for Stonehill coming up when we get back. It's a 1-0 Eagles lead, but they're going to go down a woman here. I'm going to wait for confirmation here before we go to our media timeout. And yeah, they're going to go down a woman for our media timeout. 5:22 left, and the Eagles up 1-0. Jody Rose goes to the penalty box for Post University, so that means the first power play opportunity for Stonehill in this game. They win their offensive zone faceoff and look to tie up this game. Why not? Back up top for Spadone. Now to the other side, Feeney. Feeney circling around. Spadone couldn't handle the pass. Gets cut off nicely. Great play defensively from Emma Hain, and the Eagles are able to clear. Taking a look at some of the numbers here on the power play. Stonehill with a good power play this year, 17.2%. That's fourth in the conference this season, as that'll be an icing. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, penalty kill at 76.1%. That's tied for seventh, otherwise known as tied for eighth in the conference as well. So Eagles certainly looking to improve in that area. Stonehill, they've had a lot of success with the woman advantage this year. We'll see if those trends can reverse themselves today. At least that's what Brandon Brown and company are hoping for. We've reached under the 5-minute mark already of this first period. Why not? With the woman advantage, slows things down. Back up top for Spadone. Now the one-time attempt saved by Hannah Saunders. She made a kick save and a beauty there, stopping Bailey Feeney from the goal. The Eagles able to clear it all the way down the ice, and we're down to a minute on the first power play attempt of the game for the Skyhawks. You can see the Eagles putting on the pressure, even down a woman shorthanded. Tim-Marie Grom was able to force the turnover, but really it was the effort from Jet Devlin who forced that play and took some more time off the power play. Through neutralized goes Stonehill. Combe into the slot. Her shot gets blocked, trickled onto the net. Hannah Saunders is able to just cover it up. Nice play by Peterson to get her body in front of it. Nice concentration by Saunders to be able to really see the puck through the screen. 4 minutes left in this first period. Looks like our live stats are working again, so some numbers for you. Shots on goal. It's the Eagles leading in that category, 5-4 now. But Stonehill winning the faceoff battle 6-4 so far. Each team has committed one penalty, 0 for 1 on the power play or post. This is the first attempt for Stonehill. Russell up at the blue line, back to the far side. Now Russell once again to the near side. Combe down low. This is Slocum. Slocum looking for a lane up top for Russell. Russell tries the wrist shot, but Patfield gets her body in the way of it. 20 seconds left on the power play. Cameron defensively trying to put a stop to Sydney Russell's drive, and that's a good defensive play from the freshman there. Saka sends it to the near side for Slocum. Back up top. Now over into the far slot. This is Gracie Saka. To the near side, Slocum. Up top for Sydney Russell. We're officially back to even strength. Racing out of the box is Jody Rose, and she comes in to help defensively. Puck trickles back behind the net of Hannah Saunders. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play so far today. Puck not able to get past the blue line. Rose trying to pick it up and just get it out of there defensively. She does. The Eagles can take a breath here, but for how long is the question? Under 3 minutes left in this opening period. Post looking to hang on to their 1-0 lead. Nice interception that time from the captain. Oh, what a play from Maddie Noonan. Bank passing it to herself, and then she just couldn't finish it off. Losing maybe the easiest part of that play is the handle into the offensive zone, but possibly just picked her head up too early. Either way, Noonan gets it back and sends it in deep. Curry tries to collect it, tie up behind the net of Eve Stone. Boy, Noonan goes down to the ground hard. Eagles still retain possession. On the far end of, or the near end of the ice, I should say. Looked like it was Noonan once again trying to control things and slow it down. But Stonehill gets the turnover. This is Bebo with the long shot on goal. Easy save that time for Hannah. Saunders, maybe ill-advised, gives post possession right back once again. 2 minutes left in this first period. Oh, sloppy turnover there, and Saunders is forced to make the save. Rare you see that from Emma Hain. Peyton Wise forcing the turnover and getting the shot on goal for Stonehill. Boy, Hannah Saunders, she's been tested early and often. The captain on senior night tonight. Been standing strong in net, at least so far. The Eagles have done a good job getting the puck on the other end of the ice tonight, but that's not going to help. Minute 55 left, and that'll be an icing. But for the most part, the fact that the Eagles have this at a fairly even game, actually the Eagles with the lead, obviously, but in the shots on goal total, it's fairly even. This is a team in Stonehill that gets a lot of shots on net. So the Eagles have to love the way this first period is going, just looking to finish it off strong. Stevens along the far boards. A little bank pass farther up, race for it in the offensive zone of post. Back on Stevens' stick. She takes the shot. That one right into the chest of Eve Stone. Good crowd here today at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Lots of friends and family in town for senior night. See lots of these alternate orange jerseys in the crowd. They wore them earlier this season for many of the parents of the seniors. Always good to see. Boy, backhanded try that time off the draw for Kai Hyatt. Puck is still loose out in front. Stone is out of her net, covering it up, and she does get the whistle. Great opportunity for the Eagles. Kai Hyatt going to get at least one shot on goal tallied to her ledger there, and probably another Eagle will get another one as well. Face off to the right of Eve Stone goes Stonehill's way. Now Bailey Feeney past the red line. Couldn't get past the poke check of Tallulah Cameron. And the Eagles looking to retain possession in their offensive zone. Do end up turning it over, but now they transition over to the forecheck. Going the other way, this is Stonehill. Lily Geist, I should say. Gets the quick shot, easy save for Saunders. There's about a minute left to go in this opening period of play. Couple of last pushes for either side as they look to head into the intermission with some momentum. Eagles looking to retain their 1-0 lead. Jody Rose into her offensive zone. She tries the long shot. That one just missed into the near corner. Rose still fighting for it. That one trickles into the crease, easily swiped aside by Stone. Slowing it down, looking to break out is Stonehill. Spadone in her own defensive end. Gets around Maddie Noonan. Finds Palsa. Palsa just chips it forward, but to nobody as Zoner takes over for the Eagles. Pass long up the ice, connects for Maddie Noonan. Noonan's shot gets deflected wide of the net. Looks like Farberman behind Eve Stone's net with 15 seconds left to go in the period. Zoner looks to get one last push for the Eagles. Circling around. Zoner still dancing around with 7 seconds left to go at the blue line. Tries the backhand into the slot. Nobody home to receive it. And that's going to do it here in the first period. But the Eagles, they take a 1-0 lead into our first intermission here on senior night. Taking a look at the stats in that first period of play. 8 shots on goal for the visiting Skyhawks compared to only 6 for Post University so far. And, of course, the face-off battle 8-7 in favor of the visitors and on the power play so far in this game. But, of course, the only stat that matters, the third of the season for Georgia Stevens, unassisted at least so far, and that gives the Eagles a 1-0 lead heading into the break. We'll be back in 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere. It's Post 1, Stonehill 0. side for Feeney. Tie up in that far corner. No one able to retain possession on either side to the right of Hannah Saunders. Ends up going on the stick of Maddie Noonan. Almost able to clear it. Nice keeping that time for Stonehill. Bailey Feeney all alone right in front of the net of Hannah Saunders, but couldn't get the shot on goal. Looked like her and Saunders were just in a little game of chicken there. Ended up not amounting to much, and the Eagles go the other way, right to left now. Looks like our stream is back up as there's a shot on goal off the stick of Emma Hain. Ends up getting saved by Eve Stone. Looks like our stream is back working. It's the Eagles with a 1-0 lead here in the early parts of this second period. That shot just missed the net for Tim Marie Grom. Eagles still looking to retain offensive possession. Not a whole lot to talk about so far in the second period. A couple of the goalies tested early, but neither one was grade A scoring chance. And Eagles still looking in their offensive zone to just get possession back. Tim Marie Grom chips that one forward off the blocker of Eve Stone. Puck trickles out to the near boards. Cameron almost able to keep it in, but McKenna Slocum just able to shove the puck past the blue line. And now on the counterattack comes Slocum and the Skyhawks. Gets cut off. A great play from Anna Bernaire. Now Marley Webster has it on her stick, just trying to force the tie-up once again, but gets it turned over, and McKenna Slocum has it now. Captain up at the blue line from Barrett. Barrett sends it in deep. Around the boards it goes. Eagles looking to get it out of there, maybe set up a breakout, and they do. Patfield just chips the puck forward into the offensive zone. Rest of her team going to get a platoon swap with 17:10 left to go in this second period. Boy, big collision right at center ice. Spadone stood up a hit that time into her offensive zone. Goes Turcotte. That shot saved by Saunders. Farberman comes out with it, moving right to left for the Eagles, and what is their typical away purple uniforms. Ends up staying with the Eagles. Now back out to the blue line. Peterson tries the wrist shot. That one gets blocked right at the blue line. Nice play defensively from Turcotte. And here comes Bebo. Maddie Bebo, she tries to take the shot. Goes right in between the legs of Karis Kale. Not on net. Big collision. Hand gets raised, and we have a penalty coming up. First power play of this second period for either side. Second one of the game coming up for Stonehill. And it's going to go against Peyton Tully, the freshman. And this has become a trend now for Peyton Tully in terms of the penalty box. Tully this year, she's leading the team with 36 penalty minutes. That's the fourth most in the conference. And over the course of her last 5 games, she's taken 6 penalties for a total of 12 minutes. So certainly something to keep an eye on. But she's a very talented freshman, and those are certainly just freshman mistakes you would think. But it leads to the second power play opportunity of the game hill for Stonehill. The Eagles able to clear it all the way down the ice to kick it off. Mentioned it back in the first period. Stonehill sitting at 4th in the conference with their power play. Eagles at 7th on the penalty kill. They're 0 for 1 so far today. Palsa looking for a pass into the slot. Went off the skate of Emma Hain. Goes onto the stick of McCavicus, and they clear it all the way down. 16 minutes left to go in this second period. 1:30 on the second power play opportunity of the game for Stonehill. Spadone, past the blue line she goes to the far side for Why Not. Why Not takes the tough angled shot right into the chest, and an easy save for Saunders. She gets some applause here from one of the better crowds we've seen this season here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. To be expected on senior night, but always good to see. Face-off coming up to the right of the Eagles senior netminder. Goes the Stonehill way, over to the near side. Now back up top, this is Russell. Russell to the far side. Slocum back to Russell, and they swing it around, cycling it. Over to this near slot. Gracie Saka tries to send it across. Stevens got her stick in the way with it, but Slocum still has possession. Russell once again. She takes the wrist shot. That one hit a couple of bodies. Bouncing puck goes over the net and never actually hit the net that time. Kept in by Russell right at the blue line. 45 seconds left to go on the power play. Over in the near slot. Now back up top. Boy, Russell's getting a lot of touches on this power play, but not a lot of shots on goal for Stonehill so far. Geist's attempt went a little bit wide. Pass just kept in by Russell at the blue line. She's able to recover with 25 seconds left to go on the power play. And that pass just went a little bit errant. Out of the zone it goes. Eagles get a much-needed change after a long shift on the penalty kill. Russell looks to take it back in quickly. Nice defense from Timmery Grom right at the near boards. Poke checks and stops that attempt to re-enter the zone. 5 seconds left and one last push for Stonehill with a woman advantage. Why not? She enters her offensive end. She tries the shot. It's some 7-on-7 crime. Karis Kale able to get her body in front of it, and we're back to even strength. Still in the offensive zone. Squires tries it. Looked like she was set up beautifully, but again, hit an Eagle defender before it ever hit the net. Clears all the way down. A big race for it between Kai Hyatt and Squires wins it. That'll be an icing with 14-12 left to go in this second period. Taking a look at the game stats so far in this one for the Eagles, 8 shots on goal in this game. That means they've only had 1 so far in the second period. 12 shots on goal in the game so far for Stonehill. Face off to the right of Hannah Saunders. Looked like Grom was in the circle for post, but she ends up losing it to, I believe, Maddie Bebo. Either way, Eagles able to clear it out of their defensive end of things, and now another race for it between Hyatt and Squires wins it again. Looks to stop on a dime and reset things. Bebo just shoots it in deep right behind the net of Saunders, where Marley Webster's going to be able to collect it. Webster swings it around now for Tristan Curry. Lily Barrett had that pass intercepted. Nice play defensively from Tristan Curry. No hand gets raised, and we're going to play on here in the second period. Still in the offensive zone. Noonan tries the shot. Actually, that was Webster, I should say. Noonan gathers the rebound. Curry over in that far corner. Back for Noonan. She tried the very tough angled shot. Went off the side of the net. Puck is still loose out in front. Stone was not able to dive on it, but her teammate was able to collect it instead and clear the defensive end. Puck trickles all the way back into the crease of Saunders, where she'll be forced to cover it up after a high-effort play that time from Pulsa. And we're stopped here at 13-14 left to go. Boy, a fun game so far. The Eagles just trying to cling on to their 1-0 lead here. As we mentioned in our pregame show, both these teams looking to stop a bit of a skid they've been on. Eagles losers of 4 straight. Stonehill losers of 2 straight and 5 of their last 7. Still in their offensive zone. Russell looks to send it in deep. Boy, another tough angled try. That ended up being a tougher save than it originally looked for Hannah Saunders, but she makes it nevertheless with exactly 13 minutes left in the second period. Both teams getting an opportunity to change, but both coaches electing to keep the same lines out there. Faceoff gets dropped. Boy, long tie-up between Devlin and Paulson, and ends up going the Eagles' way, but Stonehill still has possession. Paulson tries one into the slot, nobody home to receive the pass, and the Eagles look to counterattack here. Zoner's pass for Georgia Stevens gets broken up by a Stonehill defender. Now another race for it, but Mikavicus wins it that time. Mikavicus going to slow things down here. Look just to break out for Post University, who spent most of the second period in their own defensive zone after it was really the opposite case back in the first period. On the near board, Summer Combe swings it farther up for Feeney. Feeney in that near corner in her offensive end of things. Rest of her teammates, all 4 of them, get a change in. So some fresh legs out there for both sides. Looking to set up possession for Stonehill in their offensive zone. Not able to do so. Callie Peterson takes over for Post. Finds Karis Kale on the near side. Eagles get out of their own defensive end of things. About halfway through this game, a little under. Eagles send it in deep. Looking to sustain possession in their offensive zone. Again, something that just hasn't really happened a whole lot here in the second period. Feeney, she sends it across. Boy, tried to lead Lily Geist, it looks like, into a grade A scoring chance, but left it just a little too long. Still with possession, Squires tries the tough angle. That one hit a body, never hit the net. Eagles get it out of there. Bella finds her sister Gracie Saka into the offensive zone. Saka with a head of steam. She shoots it. Blocker save from Saunders, and the rebound is cleared out of there. Great heads-up awareness from Timmery Grom to eliminate another scoring chance possibly for Stonehill. Jody Rose comes back the other way for Post University. Now sends it farther up the ice. Boy, almost a great chance for Farberman, but it was just left a little too short for her that time. Don't want to give Maddie Actel an opportunity in the offensive zone, and she was just a bit off sides. So Stonehill had to touch back up. 10:52 left in this second period. Saka couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Eagles elect just to shoot it back in deep, but they're actually behind the red line there, so it's going to be an icing. Eagles not going to be allowed to change with 10:44 in the second period. Taking a look at some of the second period specific stats, yeah, exactly what you'd expect. Stonehill winning in the shots on goal department 7-2 in this middle period of play. We've also won 5 out of the 8 face-off attempts, so Stonehill really doing a very good job applying the pressure here in the second. Looks like there's a mix-up on who was on the ice for post at the time of the icing, so looks like Timmerie Grom's going to have to hustle back out there. Defensive zone win for Jody Rose in the circle. Eagles look to move it right to left on your screen. Stonehill looked to shoot it back in, but good play from Peterson as she was right there, but ends up getting it forced off her stick. Tough angled shot for Stonehill. Easy save that time for Saunders. Eagles couldn't quite get it out of the defensive zone. Kept in by Why Not. Huge collision right at the blue line. Whistle gets blown, and we have a cross-checking penalty coming up. Looks like Callie Peterson's going to go to the box for cross-checking there against Post University, and this will be the third power play opportunity of the game for Stonehill. You don't want to give him too much time and too many opportunities on the power play. They're 0 for 2 so far today. Defensively on the penalty kill to be Emma Hain, Lily Zoner, Jet Devlin, and Selena McCavikis for Post University. But the offensive zone win, and Sydney Russell controls possession for Stonehill. Geist swings it around, back up top for Russell. Over to the far side. That's Comey, back to Russell, and Russell takes the shot, rebound chance, and Saunders comes up big a couple of times in between the pipes. Halfway through this game officially, Eagles down a woman but are able to clear it all the way down the ice. 1:37 left to go on the woman advantage. Nice hustle play that time. Looking for a number for Post University. It looks like it was Jet Devlin there, just taking some more time off on the penalty kill. And the Eagles intercept another pass, courtesy of Lily Zoner, send it all the way back down. 40 seconds gone on the third power play opportunity of the game for the Skyhawks. Over to the far side, that's Geist, now to Combe. Combe in the offensive zone for Saka. Boy, the tic-tac-toe passing working out that time for Stonehill, just couldn't get the shot on goal. Geist in the far corner. Into the slot it goes. Combe couldn't handle it cleanly. Got checked a couple of times from a couple different Eagles defenders. Still in the offensive end of things. Saka dancing around, sends it into the slot. Boy, great opportunity for Peyton Palsa, but a better stick for Emma Hain, and the Eagles clear it out of there. 9 minutes left in this second period. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Another high-effort play from another Eagles defender. That's Jody Rose, getting it dirty in their own defense, in their own offensive zone. Karis Kale couldn't quite intercept the pass. Tough angled shot. Saunders makes the save. A rebound chance, and Saunders denies the shot from Palsa. Back over to the far side. Spadone finds Why Not, back to Spadone. Why Not? Sending it in deep. Pass intended for Spadone. Looked like another Eagle got their stick in there. It was Newton who deflected it out. And she's going to hustle down, forcing Stone to cover it up, and the faceoff will be in the Eagles' offensive zone with only 4 seconds left to go on the penalty kill. Good looking on both sides that time on special teams. A good looking power play for Stonehill where they got more than a couple of shots on goal and a couple of great scoring opportunities, but the Eagles did a great job of clearing it every opportunity they could. And Hannah Saunders staying strong in net. Officially back at even strength. Officially, Stonehill goes to 0 for 3 on the day with the woman advantage. Still in their offensive zone, Turcotte try to send it into the far corner. Behind the net of Hannah Saunders now. Battle for it between Timmerie Grom and Brianna Wacom. Wacom, another one of those experienced players. We haven't said her name a whole lot tonight for Stonehill, though. Into the offensive zone. Looked like Emma Hain might have gotten tripped up there. No hand gets raised. Patfield takes the shot. That one blocked aside by Stone. Rebound is loose, and Hain it looked like it was a pass into the slot, but nobody was home. Patfield tries to keep it in, but the pass gets cut off, and Stonehill comes out the other way with it. Turcotte past the blue line, looks to take the shot. Got right into the body of Timmerie Grom. Now on the near side, Webster with a tough angle hit the side of the net. Barrett for Stonehill. Now finds Wise. Wise, using her speed, almost was able to get around an Eagle defender. Took the shot. Easy save from Saunders. Puck now in that far corner. Zoner couldn't quite control it. Goes back on the stick of a Skyhawk, but she couldn't control it as well. Zoner almost has it pickpocketed from her by Actil, and she does end up forcing the turnover. Spadone couldn't handle it cleanly. Ends up going right on the stick of Peyton Tully. Tully on a 2-on-1 for the Eagles. She takes the shot, saved by Eve Stone, and she covers it up with just under 7 minutes left to go. Getting chippy right in front of the net of Stone as Lily Barrett and Peyton Tully were getting into it, and we're under our 10-minute timeout here. It's the Eagles looking to hang on to their 1-0 lead with 6:52 left to go in the second. Back in at the Sports Center of Connecticut. It's going to be an offensive zone faceoff here for the Eagles coming up. 6:52 left to go in the second. They win the faceoff, but it clears their offensive zone, so they'll have to reset and touch back up at neutral ice. Couldn't sustain possession, could Farberman, and now Feeney has it on her stick right along these near boards. Moves it up for Kenmore, who finds Geist. Geist in her offensive zone. Stops on a dime, gives it up for Feeney. Feeney takes the shot. That one saved by Saunders. Rebound was loose, but an Eagle gobbled it up right away. Looking for the number. It looked to be Karis Kale who controlled and settled that one down. Stonehill still with possession, but only temporarily. Noonan was able to force the turnover, and now the Eagles move the other way with it. Tully along the near boards just shoots it in deep, deflects behind the net of Stone, and now over to the far side, Noonan collects. Pass intended for Tully. That one gets intercepted, and out come the Skyhawks moving left to right. Feeney came in off sides. That one whistled dead with exactly 6 minutes left to go in this second period. Some second period stats for you. Stonehill still pretty much dominating the second period in total. 13-4, the shots on goal department. Face-off department, 7-5. And, of course, they've been on the power play twice in this period, but have not been able to take advantage as of yet. Puck goes all the way back into the defensive end of the Skyhawks. Rose unable to sustain possession, so it goes to Bella Saka. Saka sends it into the near corner. Emma Hain collects for the Eagles. Trying to bank pass it out of there, but kept in that time by Spadone, and that's going to be a hand pass call. So whistle here with 5:32. These teams 1-1 against each other so far this year, this being the third of 4 matchups. The Eagles won the first game 3-2, and then Alexa Karen in net pitched a shutout, won it 3-0 for Stonehill the next night. Assume we'll see Karen tomorrow in between the pipes for the Skyhawks, but tonight it's Eve Stone, who's looked good so far, but hasn't had the most help offensively. Stonehill doing a great job of keeping the puck on that side of the ice in this second period. How about the effort that time? Georgia Stevens winning the race for Post University, eliminating an icing chance, allows the Eagles to get a change in as well, as we're just under 5 minutes left in the second period. Webster, she shoots it from the blue line, looking for a deflection, and Stevens actually got too much in the way of it, ended up blocking the shot. Back out for Tim-Marie Grom. Eagles couldn't retain possession. Nice defensive play from a Skyhawk forward. Goes all the way back behind the net of Saunders. Cameron gets it out to Hyatt. And you can see Stonehill going heavy on the forecheck there, forcing the turnover where Lucy Turcotte looks to reset things. Spadone moving left to right, intended for Barrett. Barrett Almost has it taken away from her. It went right to her teammate. Spadone just elects to shoot it in deep. Cameron collects, gets it over to the far side, where Karis Kale looks to break out for post. Does get out of the blue line, but the pass hit a couple of bodies. And now Stonehill takes back over. Long shot attempt, easy save from Saunders. Turcotte, spinning, fighting. Ends up going on the stick of an Eagle. Stonehill doing a good job of making it messy, trying to keep the puck really on that side of the blue line. They're doing so, and finally the Eagles are able to just clear it out of there. Puck deflects up into the air and out of play. Off the stick of Riley Patfield. 3:48 left to go here in the second. Eagles just clinging on to their 1-0 lead. And face-offs coming up here. It looks like right at the center circle. It's Rose and Actel in the circle, and Maddie Actel wins that one for Stonehill. Rose gets it right back. Nice back check from Jody Rose. Unable to retain possession. Curry moves it up forward for the Eagles, and now Noonan. Noonan gets stopped right at the blue line, enters offsides, and we'll have another face-off here. 3:32 left in this second. Boy, the first period went by very, very quick. I was keeping a note of it because we didn't have our media timeout until under 6 minutes in that first period. Second period, more your typical new hot pace. Callie Peterson enters the offensive zone for the Eagles. Gets tied up. A nice defensive play once again from Gracie Saka. Big collision back behind Eve Stone's net. It was Squires and Rose colliding hard, both going down to the ice. Good to see everyone's back on the ice. Another big hit right in front of the bench of Stonehill. Tie up, ends up going the Skyhawks' way. This is Bella Saka with it. Saka looked like she tried the tough angled shot, but it hit a body, never hit the net. Puck deflects once again and goes out of play. Under 3 minutes left in the second. The Eagles going to send out Lily Zoner, Selena McCavikis, Jet Devlin, Georgia Stevens, the lone goal scorer today, and Emma Hain as the 5 in their own defensive zone. This is Spadone with it for the Skyhawks. Long shot deflects wide of the net. Lily Barrett gathers the rebound for Stonehill. Sends it in deep. Bailey Feeney back behind the net of Saunders. Has it taken away from her. Puck is loose over at the far side. Devlin in the mix fighting for it. So is, it looks like, McCavikis. Nobody able to come away with possession yet. Finally, the Skyhawks do. Spadone, she winds up, takes the shot. Saved by Saunders. Rebound chance. And Saunders says no once again. A couple of beauties from Hannah Saunders to keep this game at 1-0. Maybe the best opportunity of the game so far for Stonehill, and Hannah Saunders having another tremendous season in her senior year here on senior night. Looking to make it special as it's still a 0 up on the board right now. Eagles moving right to left. Maddie Noonan just going to send it in deep for Post University. Jody Rose trying to race after it. So is Sydney Russell for the opposition. Tie up right behind Eve Stone's net. Rose in the near corner getting harassed by Sydney Russell. Sends it in deep. Regan Wynot to collect for Stonehill. She tries a pass, but that one gets deflected up into the air. Ends up going right back on Lily Geist's stick. And Stonehill looks to reset. Under 2 minutes left in the second. Lily Geist elects just to shoot it in deep while Lee J. Marosolo and some of her team, actually all of her team, gets a platoon swap in. Fresh 5 out there for the Skyhawks. Most of the same in there for the Eagles right now with 90 seconds left in the period. Pass gets cut off by McKenna Slocum, but Eagles are able to just get it past the blue line there. Over to retrieve it. It's Bella Saka. Set up a great scoring opportunity only a few minutes ago. Looking to do the same to try to close out the period. Summer Combe gets that one poke checked away. Timmery Grom with a good defensive stick. Puck still loose over in that far corner. Combe has it once again, and once again has it taken away from her. For how long is the question? Boy, it looked like a stick got held there. Hand gets raised. Penalty coming up in the second power play of the game. Coming up for Post University. kudos to Riley Patfield there for really drawing that penalty. It was a high-effort play from the senior from Ontario. Gives the Eagles their second chance here with the woman advantage. I believe the official call is going to be a hook or a hold. And it goes against Summer Combe. Eagles so far 0 for 1 on the day. Back in the first period with the woman advantage. Looks like they have some confusion on who should be out on the ice. Penalty kill-wise, Stonehill at 79%. That's 5th in the conference. Power play-wise at 7.9% for Post. That's 7th in the conference. Almost able to clear it with Stonehill. Great play by Hain to keep it in the zone. Now with 48 seconds left to go, Hain circling around the net. Back up top for Kale. Kale back to Hain. Hain, she drives in, takes the shot. That one's saved by Stone. Kale once again. She tries again. Puck is loose right out in front. Kale tries it, and that one off the side of the net. Wraparound try, no goal. Puck went into the net, but they're going to say no goal, and I believe they're going to call goalie interference here. Looked like Maddie Noonan was in the crease of Eve Stone, and the referees are saying that she prevented Stone from getting over and making the save, and therefore it's not going to count as a goal and a possible 2-goal lead for Post University. Brandon Brown, of course, in his first season as interim head coach for the Eagles, wanting and deserving an explanation. Personally, I did not see how Maddie Newton fell down to the ground, and of course the debate's going to be if it was her own teammate who pushed her down to the ground, then of course it's goalie interference, but otherwise if it was a Skyhawk who pushed her down to the ground, then that should count. Either way, you pretty much never see these decisions changed here in the New Ha. We did see a goal get counted after a lengthy discussion earlier in this game, but this one doesn't look like it's going to change much. So not a penalty, of course, but just a regular old goalie interference call, and that's going to prevent the Eagles from going up 2-0. Quick shot off the draw from McCavicus, and Stone had to make a save. Emma Haynes' shot gets blocked. Good positioning that time from Brianna Walkham on the penalty kill as she clears it down the ice with 15 seconds left to go. Kale, one last possible push for Post here in the period. Her shot deflects all the way up into the rafters. So now it'll be one last possible push for Post. Boy, that's a tongue twister if I've ever heard one. With 5.1 left to go in this middle period. Most of the period has certainly gone Stonehill's way, but the Eagles, they've looked lively here on this power play. Thought they had their second goal only a moment ago, but got waved off by the referees. Quick shot off the draw, boy, and looked like McCavicus just missed the net there. Bouncing puck, and that's going to do it here for this second period. No change in score after 2 periods of play. It's the Eagles hanging on to their 1-0 lead. Boy, a dominant second period, however, for Stonehill overall. Shots on goal in the second, 19-7 in favor of the Skyhawks in the game, 27-14. 2 power play attempts for Stonehill, 1 for Post University, and they'll start the third on the power play as well. Meanwhile, in the faceoff circle in the second, Post actually won the faceoff battle that period, 11-10 for the middle period of play. In the game, they're tied up at 18 apiece. So the lone goal still belongs to Georgia Stevens back in the first, and it gives the Eagles a 1-0 lead heading into our second intermission. We'll be back in 15. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut as we're just about 40 seconds away from starting our third and presumably final period of play. It's the Eagles clinging on to a 1-0 lead as you can take a look at some of those stats. The big one to point out, shots on goal department, 27 through 2 periods for Stonehill. Hannah Saunders pitching a 0 so far in between the pipes. The senior, the captain on senior night, off to a very good start to say the least. Eagles, they'll start this third period with 1 minute and 3 seconds left on their power play. Penalty assessed to Summer Combe towards the end of this second. Eagles so far, they're 0 for 1 on the woman advantage. Looking to make it 1 for 2 if possible. Looks like Brandon Brown has his 5 ready to go out there on the ice. Lee J. Maraslo still sending her 4 out there to start off this third period. The lone goal of the game belonged to Georgia Stevens, her 3rd of the season, all the way back at the beginning parts of this first period. And we haven't had anything since. Both Eve Stone and Hannah Saunders have been stellar in net so far. But thanks so much for taking the time out of your Friday night to join us here in Shelton. Eagles do take it into their offensive zone, but immediately have it shoved right back out. And there's only 45 seconds left to go on the power play. Boy, almost a bad turnover there. Feeney stands up a hit from Stevens. Boy, what a play that time by Stevens and Feeney. Eagles do end up getting it back in the offensive zone. There's a hand raised right now. And it looks like we're going to have a penalty called here for cross-checking. Waiting to see who it's on. There's 30 seconds left to go on the post power play. Doesn't look like anyone's getting... Actually, it looks like Bailey Feeney's going to go to the box for Stonehill. That's going to give the Eagles a 2-woman advantage here for 30 seconds before their 3rd power play of the game. So a 5-on-3 opportunity for post. Face-off coming up to the right. It's a cross-checking on Bailey Feeney with only 33 seconds gone in the period. It's Devlin in the face-off circle going up against, I believe that's Actil for Stonehill. Devlin wins it, and Kale has it. Over to the near side, blue line for Hain. One-time attempt, and that time Selena McKavikis just fanned on the shot. Eagles still have possession as McKavikis gets thrown down hard into the boards. Hain over to the near side now for Kale. She takes the shot off the post. Oh, the crowd got up on their feet here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, but had nothing quite to cheer about yet as the goalie's best friend comes up strong. Eagles still with possession, but it's now a 5-on-4 as Combe comes out of the box. Devlin takes the shot off the one-timer. Believes she just missed the net. Puck loose over in that far corner. Eagles still with 1:20 on the woman advantage. They're now 0 for 2 on the power play today as Stonehill is able to clear it all the way down the ice. Saunders will touch it up and the Eagles will reset. 1:10 left to go on their 3rd power play of the game. Emma Hain, their leading point getter, takes it into the offensive zone. Slows it down, looks to take it back to the blue line. To the near side, this is Stevens. Stevens with the long wrister, easily saved that time by Eve Stone in net, and we'll have another faceoff coming up with 54 left to go on the power play. In case you forgot from the last period, Eagles enter today with the 9th best power play in the conference. Penalty kill-wise, 5th best for Stonehill. Zoner dancing around the blue line. Faked a shot there, decided to stay put. Now back up top for Stevens. To the near side, Noonan, Stevens. Stevens sends one into the far corner. It looked like it was a fake shot, actually a pass, but really went to nobody. Now that shot attempt, actually it was another pass for Timmery Grom, and she just shot it off the side of the net. 27 seconds left to go on the power play. Stevens once again swings it around for Zoner. Zoner looking for a lane. She takes the shot, that one off the hand of Lucy Turcotte. She's bent over in pain out on the ice. Her glove is on the ice as well. Eagles retain possession. Backhanded try for Jody Rose, and Eve Stone is right there to make the save and cover it up. 7 seconds left to go on the power play. Eve Stone staying strong in net for Stonehill. Looks like it's going to be a platoon swap. And looking over at Lucy Turcotte right now, she's still bent over in pain, not putting that glove back on her hand yet. Did a great job getting herself in position to make the block, but those certainly don't feel good, to say the least. Face-off win for Stonehill. Couldn't quite clear the zone. Eagles with one last push on the power play. 5 seconds or less. Emma Haynes circling around. Now we're back to even strength between these two squads. Both teams 0 for on the power play today. Actually, both 0 for 3. Combe takes the shot, now even strength. Hannah Saunders forced to make her first save of the period. Stonehill still with possession. They dominated 5-on-5 in the middle period of play, but have nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Looking to continue that trend is Lee J. Marosolo and company in this third, but that's going to be an icing, which will allow Post to possibly get set up on the other side of the ice. 16:55 left in this third period. Been a fun week in hockey, of course, with the Olympics going on. USA thrashed Latvia a couple of days ago. I believe they play Denmark tomorrow. Canada, last time I checked, they were beating up on Italy as well. See if those remain true, and of course those two teams feel destined to play each other at some point during the Olympics. A lot of NCAA Division I Olympians this year. Both these teams fully rostered, fully stacked, and with some important games down the final 4 games of the season. Looking to make the most of it. Eagles right now hanging on to their 1-0 lead, looking to force a turnover in their offensive zone. Stonehill moving out right to left. And Summer Combe, I've said her name a lot here in the third period, back in the offensive zone. She takes the shot. Saunders easily stops that one, ends up right into her chest, and we'll have another faceoff coming up. 16:18 left in this third. Five out on the ice for Brandon Brown and company. It's Rose in the faceoff circle, Hain on the far side, Tristan Curry, Lily Zoner, and Maddie Noonan. Stonehill wins it, however. Russell able to keep it in, but for how long is the question? She was getting harassed by a couple of Eagles, and now coming over to the near side, Maddie Noonan. She enters the O zone, sends it into the slot for Curry, and her shot just misses up and over the netting. Eagles retain possession. Emma Hain over to Rose. Rose sends it in deep into the near corner. Noonan trying to retain possession for the Eagles. Sydney Russell takes over instead for the Skyhawks. Didn't even realize it's a battle of the bird today, albeit one's imaginary. Eagles still with possession. Behind the net of Eve Stone, into the slot, loose puck bouncing out in front. Nobody could retain possession. Hain takes the shot, and that one hit a body before it ever hit the net. Emma Hain still with possession, sends it back towards the blue line. Zoner able to keep it on her stick, but she gets taken down to the ice. A big hit from Peyton Wise, and Stonehill's able to get it out of there. Gracie Saka tries to send it to the far side. Nobody home to retrieve that pass. Lily Zoner just going to swing it around the boards, and the Eagles look to break out. At center ice, that's Timmery Grom. Kai Hyatt now. Hyatt, her shot goes off the body of Kenmore. Now Grom recontrols. Boy, great setup for the Eagles, and the shot off the side of the net from Patfield. Puck bounces right in front of the crease of Eve Stone. She does the smart thing there and goes out of her crease to poke check that one into safety, and the Eagles will have to touch back up on sides. Jet Tevlin goes down to the ice. Puck trickles over to the near boards here. Stonehill looking to counterattack. Bailey Feeney enters the O zone. She just shot one almost on net, but McKavicus was there to intercept the pass, or intercept the shot. Now with 14:22 left to go in this third period, let's see if the Eagles can add on to their 1-0 lead. McKavicus tries it, and that one easily saved by Stone. Crowd showing their appreciation here on senior night again. Got to show some love to you Eagles fans here. A great crowd at the Sports Center of Connecticut on senior night, and so far the players, well, they're showing off in front of a great crowd. Face-off win for the Eagles. Webster just going to swing it around the boards. Race for it on the far side. Cameron and Bebo go hard into each other. No hands gets raised, and out come the Skyhawks into their offensive zone. They're going to send it back behind the net of Saunders, where Stevens will try to collect it, but the forecheck going heavy right now for Stonehill. Unable to keep it in that time was Sina Spadone, and she's going to be whistled down for offsides. 13:47 left in this third and presumably final period of play. Let's take a look at some of the third period stats. Shots on goal, Eagles actually dominating so far in the third. They're leading that category 6-2. We'll get more of the stats later, but Maddie Noonan able to make the physical play off the faceoff and just shoot it in deep. Almost wins the race herself, but instead Why Not comes out with it. Why Not just chips that one farther ahead. Marley Webster unable to control it down. Puck goes all the way back behind the net of Saunders, and no icing's going to get called as they say Webster touched it early. Boy, puck took a funny stop there. Stays in the defensive zone of the Eagles. And a high-effort play that time from Turcotte. Good to see she's doing all right after hurting her hand earlier, it looked like. Puck does end up clearing the zone and goes all the way back behind the net of Stone. Eagles get a fresh 5 out there. Transition over to the forecheck does Post University, forcing Stonehill back behind their own net. Trying to get it out of there. This is Peyton Pulsa. Pulsa into the offensive zone, goes to the far end. Good stick lift that time from Emma Hain once again. And then Hain runs into Pulsa. Bernaire still with possession for Post. Drifting through neutral ice, and now a hand gets raised. Looks like we have another penalty coming up here. 12:37 left to go in the third period. And Peyton Pulsa's going back to the penalty box. This will be another power play opportunity coming up for Post University. Fourth opportunity of the game for the Eagles. They're 0 for 3 so far, looking to add on to their 1-0 lead. And the last chance for them looks pretty good. Able to make it 5-on-3 for 30 seconds in that last opportunity. See if they can find a way to break through Eve Stone, who's been stellar in net today. Devlin took it around, looked for the pass in the slot, but had that one deflected. She has it on her stick once again. Back for Mikavicus. Over to the near side, this is Webster. Webster tried to send it across. Nice play by Achtel defensively. Webster once again just missed the net on the rebound chance. Hain dancing around, looking for a lane, finds Webster at the near circle. Back up top, back to Webster. Over to the far side, now for Hain. Webster once again takes the shot. Good heads-up save from Eve Stone. Webster controls the rebound. Eagles defender gives it off to Rose. Another Eagles forward, I should say. Now Hain. Hain with the backhanded try, and Eve Stone comes up big yet again and makes the save. 1:06 left to go on the power play. A couple of good opportunities for Post University, but Eve Stone able to fight through the screen there. Fight through the screen a couple of times, I should say, and keep this game at 1-0. Tie up on the faceoffs. Nobody able to come down with possession just yet, and finally the Eagles do. Stevens looking for her second goal. Swings it down low. That's Grom who sends it back around the boards. Now up top for Karis Kale, just trying to control possession. 50 seconds left on the power play. Puck ends up clearing the offensive zone, but the Eagles look to bring it right back in. Stevens with a head of steam. The true freshman, with her third goal of the season already today, has it taken away from her, and Stonehill's able to clear it all the way down. 30 seconds left to go on the power play. Karis Kale gets by one Stonehill defender, takes it herself into the offensive zone, tries a drop pass, but wasn't really looking, it seemed, and Summer Combe was right there to clear it all the way back down. 15 seconds left. Just about halfway gone through this third period. Eagles, after a good first couple of possessions on this power play, really been stymied here at neutral ice with one last push with the woman advantage. And we're back to even strength officially. Eagles go to 0 for 4 on the day on the power play. Still with possession. Tully fires away. That one deflects a couple of times, but never hits the net. Looked like it was Marley Webster right there for the Eagles. Actually, no, Kai Hyatt was right there who deflected that one wide. This is Webster with it on her stick. Gives it to Patfield. Patfield sends it across for Tully. Tully with a head of steam. She takes the shot. That one kicked out of the corner by Eve Stone. Eagles still control it. Kai Hyatt sends it back up top for Hain, and Hain's shot easily gobbled up by Stone yet again as we've reached the under 10-minute mark here in the third period. Eagles looking to hang on to their 1-0 lead down the bumpy road to the finish. 9 minutes, 58 seconds left to go, and the Eagles holding on to a 1-0 lead here in Shelton. Face-off coming up to the right of Eve Stone. Tie-up off the draw, ends up going the Skyhawks' way, and they come out with it. Gracie Saka, let's see what Lee J. Maroslo has all of a sudden a little 3-on-1 forming here. Shot on goal, and Saunders makes the save. Oh, a beautiful setup that time for Stonehill, and Saunders had to come up big in between the pipes for really one of the first times this third period. Only the third shot on goal of the period for Stonehill so far. So Saunders, not the easiest thing in the world to stay that alert when you haven't been tested much. Able to do it there. Face-off win in the defensive zone for Post. Jody Rose has it now. Tried the long up-ice pass, maybe ill-advised. Curry couldn't handle it cleanly, and the puck goes back in the defensive zone of the Eagles. Turned it over there. Nice play by Mia Kenmore defensively, but Eagles forced it right back on their sticks. Puck trickled out into neutral ice. Hand gets raised. Crowd is cheering, and that likely means we have another power play opportunity coming up for Post University. Looks like it's a tripping call getting called, and this is going to go on Sina Spadone. So the Eagles, with their third power play chance of this period, the fifth of the game. We'll see if they can finally break through against Eve Stone and add on to their 1-0 lead. It's Devlin in the circle for Post going up against Actil, and Actil wins it for the Skyhawks. Puck gets swung around the board shorthanded. Stonehill unable to clear it. Noonan kept it in, but finally it just trickles past the blue line. Emma Hain to reset things for Post. Official call goes on Sina Spadone as a tripping. Hain takes it herself into the zone. Stays up strong back behind the net of Eve Stone. You saw her hand get raised. Fans wanted the referee's hand to get raised that time. No call as such. Now a minute 30 left on the power play. Webster resetting things back in her end. Karis Kale takes it from her. Kale, using her speed, gets into the offensive zone. Retains possession, gets around Squires, makes a couple of great moves, and a beautiful shot and a great save from Stone. Oh, what a play from Karis Kale as well. Kale, the assistant captain, the sophomore out of Ontario, just making a great play going coast to coast and forcing Eve Stone to make a tough save. Defensive zone win for the Skyhawks. 8:30 left to go in the period. They clear the zone as we're about halfway through this power play opportunity. Boy, it looked like a bit of a miscommunication along the near boards here. Puck goes right back into the defensive zone of the Eagles, but another hand gets raised. Looks like a boarding call coming up, and I think we might have a penalty getting called against the Eagles here. For a second, I thought it was going against Stonehill, but it is going to go up against Post University. I believe it's a boarding penalty, and that's going to bring us to 4-on-4 here. Goes against the freshman, Georgia Stevens. So we'll see what Lee J. Maroslo and these Skyhawks can draw up with 8 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in the third period. It'll be 4-on-4 for 55 seconds, and then a minute 5 seconds of a Stonehill power play. To the near side here, this is Why Not. Why Not driving in, takes the shot, and Saunders was able to fight through a screen there to make the save. Zoner looking to just get it out of the defensive zone. She gets taken down to the ice hard. Puck is still loose along the near boards here. Noonan fighting up against Gracie Saka, and the puck goes out to Emma Hain. Hain driving in, her shot gets blocked. Another hand gets raised. Another penalty going to be called. A good job by Sydney Russell to sell that one a little bit, so to speak. Emma Hain going to the penalty box for a cross check, and it'll be 4-on-3 in favor of the Skyhawks before it turns into a 5-on-3. Not something you practice often for either team. If you're Brandon Brown or Lee J. Maroslo, the rare 4-on-3 power play coming up. So it'll be 27 seconds of this before it turns into a 5-on-3. See how the Eagles elect to defend it. Up top, this is Feeney for Why Not. A golden opportunity to try to tie this game for Stonehill. Back for Why Not. She drives in. Beautiful block from Jody Rose, sacrificing the body. Trying to clear the zone is Rose, and Karis Kale is able to do so. Now Kale, short-handed, tried to enter the offensive zone, did the smart thing and just sent it down the ice, as this is now a 5-on-3 power play for a full minute and a half, basically. Feeney for Spadone up top. Now why not? Back to Spadone. Spadone down low. This is Feeney. Feeney tries the tough angle, and that one, I don't believe, hit the net. I think it went off the stick of Karis Kale. Back to Feeney. She tries it yet again, and Saunders is right there to make the save. 40 seconds to go until one of the Eagles comes out of the box. Spadone swings it down low. Pulsa. Back for Spadone. Now over to the other side. One-time attempt for Why Not, and she just missed the net. Spadone, Why Not? Why Not sends it in, deflects wide, and Pulsa just couldn't get a handle on it. The Eagles do, and they clear it down. 19 seconds left until Georgia Stevens comes out of the box. 43 seconds left until we're back to even strength. Tim-Marie Grom, she has it, going to send it all the way down the ice. That's likely going to do it on the 5-on-3 opportunity, but it's still going to be 5-on-4 for about 30 seconds here for Stonehill, trying to tie this game and get past Hannah Saunders. Gracie Saka with a head of steam, stops on a dime, sends it back up top. Russell playing a little bit of keep away here. Now Slocum, she shoots it right into the chest of Saunders, and Saunders poke checks it into safety. Able to clear it out of there defensively is Lily Zoner. And with 4 seconds left to go, that's likely going to bring us back to even strength. It does. Russell driving in, takes the shot. Saunders makes the save. And that's going to bring us to a stoppage here with 5:43. Oh, what a penalty kill for Post as they go down 5-3 and are able to keep this game at 1-0. Brandon Brown getting a bunch of fresh legs out there on the ice. So is Lee J. Marosolo. And now under 6 minutes left in this game. Start wondering when Eve Stone will head over to the bench. Obviously a few minutes till that point. Barrett to Spadone. Spadone, long shot, deflects a couple of times. Saunders with a great heads-up save. Patfield controls the rebound and takes it out of the defensive end of things. Sends it in deep, back behind the net of Eve Stone. Farberman sends it back up top to the blue line. Webster almost had it taken away from her, and she does actually. That's Bebo, who couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Eagles come the other way. This is Patfield. Patfield tries the shot, easily gloved down by Stone, and we could take a breather here with 5:09 left to go. A fun-paced third period here, and the Eagles somehow still staying on their 1-0 lead. Taking a look at some of these third period stats, Eagles outshooting Stonehill 11-7 in the frame, also winning in the faceoff battle, now 11-1 after that latest win. Hannah Squires back behind her own net. Gives it off to Spadone, who tried to pass it for Squires again, but Noonan was there instead to get the interception. Eagles now with possession. Noonan tries a little bouncing puck, easily stopped and covered once again by Eve Stone in net. 4:46 left to go in this third period of play. Of course, these two teams will meet again tomorrow afternoon, 2:15 puck drop on the third to last game of the season, but still a long ways to go in this one before we get there. Face-off win for the Skyhawks in their own defensive end of things. Russell looks to take it out. Russell getting harassed on the back check by Tristan Curry, able to get it into the offensive zone of the Skyhawks. Actil with the shot, she scores! Oh, what a beautiful goal from Maddie Actil, and she evens up this game at 1-1. We're looking at each other up in the broadcast booth as one of the conference leaders has us stunned up here, able to just turn around on a dime and basically no-look it past the glove of Hannah Saunders. For Maddie Actil, her team leading 12th goal of the season. Already was tied for 9th with 11. We'll see where that moves her up in the standings after today, but got to count on your veterans, got to count on your team leaders. Lee J. Marosolo does just that, and Maddie Actil comes through for the Skyhawks. Another tough angled shot now, 4:10 left to go in this game, and Saunders able to make the save. Boy, for Actil as well, I mean, not that it's that much of a surprise, but her 3rd point this season against Post and her 2nd goal against the Eagles. Face off to the left of Saunders, goes the Skyhawks' way, but the Eagles do come out with possession now. Cameron into the offensive zone for Post. She looked to send it across, but had her stick held up that time. Good play defensively by Lily Barrett. Puck swings back up top here. Marley Webster trying to send it back down low. Farberman couldn't handle it cleanly. Barrett takes over, but for how long is the question. Stonehill able to get it out of their defensive zone. This is Pulsa. Pulsa takes it in. Finds Slocum on the near side. Puck gets tangled up in the skate of the referee that time. Allows Stonehill to retain it, but not for very long. Now out come the Eagles. Mikavakis, after the long up-ice pass, tries to slow things down in the offensive zone. Actually sends things on net, and Eve Stone had to make the stop there. Boy, big collision there between Cameron and Slocum. Don't think any of the referees were looking that way, though. Back up top, this is Zoner. Zoner takes the shot. That one deflects a couple of times. Loose in the crease, and Stone comes up big with a save. Eve Stone let in that early goal back in the first, but it's been nothing since then. She's been like a brick wall in there, denying chance after chance for the Eagles. You can see her getting a few love taps from her teammates, coming up big yet again to keep this game tied. Eagles win the faceoff. Emma Hain with the shot. Missed it just above the net. Puck still in the near boards, offensive zone. Stevens fanned on the shot attempt. Stonehill comes the other way with it. This is Feeney with under 3 minutes left to go in the game. Feeney on the far boards, back up top for Russell. Across for Barrett. Barrett couldn't keep it in the offensive zone. Skyhawks have to touch up, and the Eagles take over. Zoner into the offensive zone for Post. Tried the bank pass to herself, left it just a little bit long. Now a tie up here in the far boards, and Stonehill comes away with it. Oh, almost dangerous there for Lily Barrett. Looked like she lost control. Ended up losing it right behind the net of Eve Stone rather than on net. Lily Geist at neutral ice decides just to send it in deep where Saunders will touch it up for Post. On the bumpy road to the finish here, Eagles and Skyhawks tied up at 1 apiece. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go here in the third. Skyhawks trying to play spoiler on senior night. Eagles trying to spoil the Skyhawks' home ice advantage potentially in the first round of the New Hot tournament. Callie Peterson bank passes it up. Jody Rose couldn't handle that one cleanly. Saka takes over for the opposition and shoots it in deep. Kale racing after it for Post. Meets Gracie Saka along those far boards. Eagles look like they're going to slow things down, but misplayed there. I believe it was Jody Rose who just sent it into the near corner. Now Stonehill takes over. Slocum back up to the blue line. Russell looked to send it down low. Combe didn't know where the puck was. The Eagles able to get it past the blue line, but once again Stonehill controls the puck. Minute 20 left to go in the third period. Tim-Marie Grom just takes the long shot on goal. More is just a dump in, so to speak, but racing after it herself and trying to keep the puck on that side of the ice. Long shot attempt. Going to go down as an icing for Stonehill. Emma Hain touches it up. 1 minute and 3 seconds left to go in this game. Who's going to be the hero for either side? For the Eagles, will it be one of their seniors here on senior night? It's already been the leading goal getter for Stonehill, Maddie Achtel, today. We'll see if she can come through again. I'll tell you what, both the netminders have been heroes for their respective squads today. So we're officially under 1 minute to go here in the third. Slocum through neutral ice. Has that pass intercepted by Emma Hain. And then Hain's pass gets intercepted once again. Puck deflects all the way back behind the net of Saunders. Eagles reset. Back to the near side here. Boy, errant pass once again in their own defensive zone. And Stonehill takes over now. Wise just shoots it in deep. Eagles once again having trouble breaking out of their D end. 25 seconds left to go in this third period. Stonehill forces the turnover into the slot. Nobody home to shoot it on net. Back up top. This is Wise. She gets it turned over. Mikavakis with a great play. Now racing up the ice is Selena Mikavakis, and a great back check from Lily Barrett to not allow Mikavakis to get the shot on goal. We trickle down under 5 seconds left to play, and that is going to do it here in regulation. What a game between Stonehill and Post University, and we're heading to overtime. Maddie Actil picked up her 12th of the season to tie this game with under 5 minutes left. Meanwhile, it was Georgia Stevens back in the first period, and we're going to a 3-on-3 OT. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 30 seconds here on Post University Women's Hockey. Back in at the Sports Center of Connecticut as we're getting ready for this 3-on-3 overtime. What a fun game this has been between the Eagles and the Skyhawks. Eagles move right to left, Skyhawks left to right. For Post out on the ice to start off, it's Jody Rose, Maddie Noonan, and Karis Kale. Meanwhile, it's Kenmore, Spadone, and Feeney on the ice for Stonehill. Both the netminders and Saunders and Stone have been stellar in net today, and really it's a shame one of them has to lose this game. We'll see how it goes. Spadone controls it first for Stonehill. Feeney now has it on her stick, going up against Noonan. Noonan with a good poke check to knock that puck loose, but Feeney with possession still into her offensive zone, has her stick lifted. You saw Feeney might have wanted the penalty call there. No hand gets raised, and the Eagles take over. 30 seconds gone here in the overtime. Long up ice pass. This is Maddie Noonan. She takes the shot, and Stone comes up big. Jody Rose with a lot of open ice. She gets taken down to the ice. No hand gets raised, so we'll continue to play on here. Eagles still with possession, and Noonan going to do the smart thing, take it out of the offensive zone, and reset possession for Post. This is McKavakis with it on her stick. 18 on 18. That pass a little bit errant, and Gracie Saka's going to take over for Stonehill. Just over a minute gone here in the overtime period. Only 5 minutes of 3-on-3 before this goes to a potential shootout. Sydney Russell has it for Stonehill. Decides to take it a long way up the ice, working against Jet Devlin. Devlin looking to lift her stick. Russell fending her off. Into the slot it goes. Don't believe anyone got it on goal technically. This is Saka. Sends it across the blue line, back up top. Going to retrieve it is the goal scorer, Actil. Russell once again has it on her stick. Bank pass to nobody there, and the Eagles are going to take over. Emma Hain getting harassed in her own defensive zone. In to help defensively, or really offensively, I should say, is McKavakis. Now she gets tied up along the near boards. McKavakis and Grom in there for the Eagles. Geist and Slocum in there for Stonehill, but Grom comes away with it. Under 3 minutes left in the overtime period. Lily Zoner. She goes in, she takes the shot, and Stone makes the blocker save. Puck trickles into the crease of Stone once again. She's able to just cover it up with 2:46 left to go in OT. Taking a look at the total stats in this game, shots on goal favoring the visitors, 37-29. Both teams 0 for 5 on the power play. Meanwhile, face-off-wise, Eagles actually winning that battle, but it's a close one, 31-29. Make it 32-29 after that latest win. Zoner and Grom trying to keep it in, but we're unable to do so. Grom still able to keep possession here. She moves into the offensive zone, takes the shot, and Stone able to make the save once again. Good opportunity for Tim Marie Grom. Would have loved to be the hero on senior night for her, the senior out of Michigan. I think it's Livonia, but not positive. Sorry if I butchered the town name. But either way, a couple of fresh legs out there for both sides. Face-off win for Gracie Saka. Lily Barrett has possession for Stonehill. Now to Maddie Actil. Actil enters the offensive zone with a possible 2-on-1. Tip on goal. Saunders comes up big, and it trickles in. Lily Barrett gets the game winner, and Stonehill comes back to win this one 2-1 in OT. Skyhawks able to play spoiler here in Shelton. Just a fun game between these two conference foes, and it ends with Lily Barrett, the senior, out of Little Canada, Minnesota, getting her second goal of the season, her 4th point overall. Ends up being the game winner here in overtime as it just got through the crease between looked like the body and the elbow of Hannah Saunders. Was able to just find the back of the net. A heartbreaking loss for Brandon Brown and crew if you're a post-Eagles fan, but there's a lot to hang your hat on if you're an Eagles fan as well or an Eagles skater. Taking a look at some of the stats, total shots on goal in the game, 38 for Stonehill, 31 for Post University. Both netminders were really unbelievable in between the pipes today. Made some highlight reel-type plays for both of them, and just some fun stuff to watch in between the pipes. Both teams went 0 for 5 on the power play. Face-off-wise, 32-30 in favor of the Eagles, as here on senior night, they start to salute their fans. One of the better crowds of the season here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, and kudos to them for really staying through late at night, already 9:51. Got a little bit of a late start for a 7:45 tip, and man, they were loud, they were energetic. They really willed Post to compete against, at least on the standings, what is a better team. And ultimately, Stonehill was able to just do enough today to come back. And after trailing most of the game by a score of 1-0, a third period goal from Maddie Actil, her 12th of the season. And of course, the overtime goal for Lily Barrett, her 2nd of the season, allows the Skyhawks to take this one. So that's going to do it for us here in Shelton. Thank you so much for joining us on your Friday night. Again, tomorrow afternoon at 2:15, we'll be back for Game 2 of this weekend set. But for our producers, Michael Vesci, Christian Brown, Leah Lockwood, Jarrett Michaels, and the rest of our graduate assistants, my name is Max Stapleton, saying thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon.